This video will demonstrate how to replace spokes and/or a rim, and also how to lace a motorcycle wheel. There are numerous different reasons it may be necessary to replace the spokes or rim on your motorcycle. A bent rim and bent, broken, or missing spokes seem to be a common occurrence and can cause more damage or leave you with a useless wheel if left ignored. Another reason is your spoke nipples can get seized up and therefore prevent the spoke from being tightened or adjusted when needed. Or maybe there's nothing wrong with your current setup. Maybe you're just wanting to change the color of your rim, spokes, or hub. Either way, Rocky Mountain ATV MC carries a wide variety of OEM and aftermarket rims, spoke kits, and hubs. Everything you need to completely rebuild your wheels. So the first step is to completely disassemble the wheel. To do that, the tire needs to be unmounted, and we'll also remove the rim lock and rim strip as well. After that, we can start taking apart the rim. When you start removing the spokes, it's a good idea to check for different angles and lengths, and then make note of their location to make reassembly easier. I've seen as many as 3 different lengths on one wheel. It's not very common, but it does happen, so be aware of this. On this front, all the spokes are the same length, so we didn't have to worry about this. If you find spoke nipples that are seized up, there's a few different ways to remove these. First way would be to apply a little penetrating oil to each of the nipples, making sure to spray them from both sides. Let that soak overnight, or longer if needed, and then try to loosen them. It may be necessary to clamp the spoke with a pair of vise grips to keep it from spinning. If that still doesn't work, the best thing to do is just cut the spokes off. This is going to save you time and a lot of headache. It's a good idea to save the spokes you can for spares in the future, so we'll cut the ones we need to and save the rest. Go ahead and finish removing the spokes from the rim. When they are disconnected, we can get the rim out of the way, and since this rim is so beat up, we're just going to chuck it into the recycle bin. So now our old wheel has been completely disassembled. Since we had to cut out a number of spokes to get them off, we decided to go with the replacement spoke kit from Tusk. It comes complete with all the spokes and nipples needed for this rim. We're also going to be installing a new Tusk Impact replacement rim. And now we've got all our replacement parts ready to start building a wheel. First things first, we need to know if any of the spokes are different lengths or angles. And as I mentioned before, this wheel only uses the one length. Different length or angle spokes are more commonly seen on the rear wheels. So if your wheel does have different length spokes, separate them, and you'll have to refer to your service manual or an OEM schematic for proper spoke placement. And the next thing we're going to do is take all the spokes and then just brush a little anti-seize on each of the spoke threads. Doing this is going to help prevent the spoke nipples from seizing up again. It's important that you understand the relationship between the rim and spokes. The direction each hole faces alternates from the hole on either side of it. This is so the rim can be pulled evenly in both directions. So go ahead and sit the hub onto the table. Then you're going to want a couple blocks on each side to sit the rim on. You want to position the rim so it's sitting level with the middle of the hub. Once that's supported, we can start installing spokes into the hub. We're going to install the lower or inner spokes first, so there's 9 of those. Once those are in, we can install the outer spokes, so there's 9 more of those. And these are going to lay across the top of the other spokes we just installed, kind of in the opposite direction. You'll start seeing a sort of star or sun pattern made by the spokes in the hub. And you'll see that pattern a little better now that we've got all the spokes in this one side. So now these 18 spokes are in, we're going to attach this side before we flip it over. So start with the top or outer spokes, and it's pretty simple. Just pick up one of the spokes and run it to the hole that it lines up with. We'll attach that with a nipple. For the next spoke, it's basically the same thing. Run it to the hole it lines up with, and the pattern turns out to be every 4th hole. So we'll attach that with another nipple. And we're going to follow that pattern to attach the rest of the outer spokes. So skip 3 holes and install the spoke, skip another 3 and install, till you've got all the outer spokes attached. Now we're ready to attach the inner spokes. These are going to run to the holes in the middle of the outer spokes we just attached. So after the first one's in place, it's the same thing. Skip 3 holes and install the next one. When we're all done, we'll have a spoke from this side in every other hole. So this is what it will look like when you've got the one side finished. And just go ahead and flip the rim over. We're going to sit it back on the blocks. And after that, start installing these spokes. Just follow the same pattern as we did on the other side. Install the 9 inner spokes first. When those are in place, install the 9 outer spokes into their holes. Again, these are just going to lay across the spokes we just installed, only in the opposite direction. Once you've installed all the spokes, you can begin attaching them to the rim, just like we did on the other side. Start with the outer or top spokes, installing one into every 4th hole. And when all the outer spokes are attached, fill in the 9 remaining holes with the inner spokes. And with all the spokes in place, that makes our wheel complete. At this point, all the spokes are still really loose, so we're going to go through and tighten them up a little bit. The goal is to get all the nipples threaded on those spokes the same amount, without making any of them tight yet. So we're just going to go around the wheel and thread each of the nipples onto each of the spokes the same distance. Doing this is going to ensure the wheel is coming together evenly, and it's going to make truing the wheel a lot easier. And this is going to complete our wheel lacing. At this point, the wheel isn't true and the spokes are not tight. You can refer to our wheel truing video for the proper way to true your wheel and tighten your spokes. Rocky Mountain ATV MC is your one-stop shop for all the motorcycle wheels, replacement parts, and any tools you might need for the job. Be sure to check out our website for a complete list of OEM and aftermarket parts for your machine. Thanks for watching.